I promised people that I would tell them why an interest only loan is a great loan and how the bank gets them to pay all of that interest. Here's one thing that most people are unaware of, okay? When you're paying an interest only loan, when you have a $350,000 loan at 3.5%, the very first interest payment is $1,020.83. Okay. That would be on this loan. That would be here. The interest only payment, we can see that here in the summary. The interest only payment would be $1,020.83. Is everybody seeing that? Here's what you don't know. On $350,000 for 30 years, okay? Watch this. I'm going to change the interest rate. Bum, ba-da-dum. Okay, $350,000. Okay, $350,000. All right. We're going to keep the interest rate the same, 350,000. Okay. We're going to keep the interest rate the same, but we're going to change the principal amount. Any loan at 3.5%. Okay. So we've got 350,000 at 4% at 300 months is still 1166. So if we did it for 180 months, that's 15 years. Calculate it again, it's still the first interest payment is $1,166.67. The interest payment does not change, even if we change the number of months. If we change it to 10 years, 120 payments, and calculate it again, the first payment is still the same, $1,166.67. So let's go over an interest rate, and we're going to put in 360 payments. Okay. So if we do it at 360, here's the amortization, is a 360 amortization. And now at 4%, it's still $1,166.67. If you're making the interest only payment, that's all you pay. The principal does not go down. Okay. 10 years later, you have 10 years worth of interest payments, but your principal payment would be the same. Why is an interest only payment valuable? Because you are in complete charge of how much, after you pay the interest payment, you're in complete charge of putting money on principal. And here's the great thing about an interest only payment. When you put money on principal and you have an interest only payment, let's say you put $5,000 on here. All right. So we put $5,000 on, that would take us down to 345,000. Okay. Watch what happens to our payment, because we're at 1670. When you have an interest only payment, your payment is based on how much you still owe. As you pay the loan down, your payment changes. Okay. Let's say we paid it down to 340,000 by putting extra on principal. 340,000. All right. Now our payment is 1647.08. Now our payment is 1623.21, because on an interest only payment, our payment is based on how much we owe. So you can attack this thing tremendously with a lot of money. So if we were to put on this much money on this loan, $5,987.50, we knock off about $13,000 in interest. That's why an interest only loan is one of the best loans out there. It's not the best loan if you only pay the interest payment. It is the greatest loan if you strategically pay down principal along the way. And we can help you to do that. Okay. So remember, when you're making a payment on a loan at the certain principal amount at the same interest rate, it doesn't matter how many payments you have. The first interest payment is always the same. It's always the same number. Now, let's figure out in the last couple of minutes here, how does the bank figure out on a 360 payment loan, how is it going to get us to pay 71%? Here's what we're looking at. I'm going to put a calculator on the screen. So now you can see how they do that. So we're going to blow this up just a little bit. And there we go. Make it just a little bit bigger. All right, so we'll put the calculator on. How do they do that? So we have an interest rate of 4%. Okay, and because of that, we're making our first interest payment is $1,133.33. Our next interest payment on this loan is $1,131.70. How does the bank figure that out? So we take our 4% interest and put it in as a decimal. That's 0.04. We divide that number by 12. Okay, it is 0.003s and a bunch of threes. Okay, so we take 1/12 of the interest rate, multiply it by the unpaid balance, and in this case, it is the $339,510.12. We're going to multiply that by $339,510.12. See what we get. We get $1,131.70. That's how they do it. They take 1/12 of your interest rate and multiply it by the unpaid balance 360 times. So it's not one mortgage, it's 360 separate mortgages. So folks, as we go into this next new year, if you want to know the best way to handle not only your mortgage, but your student loans and your credit cards to save the maximum amount of money that's mathematically possible for you, contact us at the P.I.L.L Method. Let's go into the next year. Let's break this 88-year cycle of not knowing how all of this works. Let's end financial violence in this next year. And you can help by spreading the word. Share this content, whether on Clubhouse or on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube. Get the information out so people can know.
But Don has some valuable information that can contribute to the quality of a person's life. And it only costs you a few dollars. It's his book. Why not get that?
I'm going to go through the P.I.L.L Method myself with some of my investment properties. So I'm going to link up with Don, and then I'm going to sit down with him, show him my investment portfolio, and see how I can eliminate interest.